In the history of names, there have been some bad ones. Catherine E. coli, Gamble Moore, Mayor Bland, and this guy, Frank
Schmuck, S-C-H-M-U-C-K.
Schmuck.
Schmuck, that's right, Frank Schmuck.
And you guessed it, from reading the signs, he wants to be an Arizona politician.
It's time to put a real schmuck in office.
Schmuck is actually a decorated veteran. He flew in Desert Storm before leaving the Air Force.
They said, well, why'd you get out of the military if you had such a good career? And I said, well, I was faced with the promotion that was going to make me a major schmuck. What would you do?
Well, Schmuck's now piloting planes for Southwest Airlines. And piloting this golf cart, getting out his message that he's running for Arizona state rep. The only problem, people keep stealing his Schmuck signs.
They're all gone within 24 hours. So I said, well, that's funny. Maybe it's just the name. People think it's a joke or whatever. But I said, to me, it's a little frustrating.
Frustrating because he's a publicly financed candidate. Taxpayers actually pay for these signs. And because he wants voters to know his name.
Schmuck.
And he needs the signs to do it. So,
if it's that important to you and you want one of my signs, just ask me.
Division Delta, Task Force 4.
And everybody knows as the day goes on, it's going to get hotter and drier. The winds are going to pick up.
There's lots of different tactics we can use for every scenario.
And the scenario today, a wildland fire, and several fire departments working together to put it out.
You ready?
Early this morning, crews gathered to meet each other at McDowell Mountain Park.
We are expecting a pretty active desert fire season. We're just kind of getting to know one another, getting to know one another's equipment.
Mike Guadardo spent 4 years fighting fires for the Forest Service. He knows the dangers and the difficulties when flames meet dry brush.
And it's just pretty challenging. It's pretty physical. There's a lot going on. It can be frightening at times when you're, especially working with hand tools and dealing with direct fire when there's no water around.
And as homes creep closer to the desert, the need for defensible space becomes even greater.
The fire departments are asking is that the homeowners do a defensible space around their property, and it doesn't mean to clear cut their vegetation down, but keep the fuels separated.
And while crews are training to protect homes and land, they're also learning to protect themselves.
The most important thing is holding your shelter until you get into it.
Each firefighter carries these protective tarps in case they ever get trapped by the flames.
That's why we're out here training, so we don't find ourselves in situations that require us to deploy our shelters.
So we have 2 pencils and 3 more. Equals 5.
This is the kind of class where the teacher has to be on the ball.
Did you make yours rectangles?
Judy Hershey oversees a special needs class for 1st to 3rd graders at Superstition Springs Elementary in Gilbert.
Jordan.
Her student Jordan Buskell is known to be a little hyper.
Your shoes lost.
But sometimes Jordan would go from wound up to lost in his own world.
We just thought he was always just tuning us out, being a boy, sort of thing.
When I called her and I said, I think Jordan is having seizures, they had never thought about it, they had never seen it.
Judy's hunch was confirmed by medical tests.
You ready, Jordan? We're gonna do 2 pencils.
Jordan was having absence seizures, each one killing more brain cells.
We knew something was wrong, but we couldn't figure it out. And she's the one that put in the missing puzzle piece.
And which is the greatest? 49, circle it.
Diane feels like Judy's awareness saved her son's life, or at least made it a lot easier for Jordan to get the treatment he needs.
Everybody's excited.
So she emailed CBS 5 News, asked to pay it forward, and we set up the surprise at school.
Well, this should be a fun way to end the last class of the day for her, so here's the $500. Let's go pay it forward.
Definitely. I contacted CBS 5 Pay It Forward for all the work she does for all the special needs kids in her class. She deserves this. So we wanted to give you $500 and thank you.
Always the teacher, Judy used her emotional moment as a life lesson for the kids who started to worry. Sometimes you cry when you're happy too. Peter Bush, CBS 5 News.
Okay, everybody go.
Telling it like it is.
agency heads in Arizona, called them in. We have a dilemma. They may not be able to meet the payroll. I wanted a 10% cut. It wasn't until I came back I was able to get them back in peace, sense of the word.
I said, do you have any pay stubs? Do you have any contracts? And all of a sudden he says to me, near his bed, there's a trunk. He's kept there since he turned pro at 15. Every piece of paper, every contract, everything is in there. Sometimes one promoter who had a show scheduled spent a whole, maybe $60,000 to promote this whole fight. He got his license 10 days before the fight, which was not enough time to sell the tickets. The other two promoters, one threw up his arms and he just walked away.